So we want to talk about logistics and global logistics, global integrated logistics in the wake of COVID-19. We have two guests who are joining us in this conversation. One of them is in the studio and the other one will join us via video link. Ruth Tabu is in the studio. She is the head of customer experience for the East African area for an organization called Maersk. We've seen it. We've seen those containers that are written Maersk on the trucks, on the roads. We've seen photos of huge marine vessels written Maersk. And some people assume that Maersk is a container company. Others assume that Maersk is a shipping company. But Ruth, welcome to Kenya's biggest conversation. This is a radio company.
Asante sana, Eric.
So what is Maersk?
Maersk is a global integrated company. Maersk is headquartered in Copenhagen in Denmark. Mm-hmm. And until a few years back, we were mainly known as a maritime transport company because we did have assets, ships, and we did spend quite a bit of time moving containers around the world. But then we started out on a new strategy where we really wanted to integrate logistics for customers. And the journey started towards the end of 2016. So today we see ourselves in a field that nobody has ever been out to. We find ourselves as pioneers in building a truly integrated company that brings solutions to customers. When we talk solutions here, we are saying end-to-end logistics to our customers. So a customer who comes to you just doesn't want, for example, ocean transport, which was our traditional niche. What they want is to move their cargo from wherever it is currently to wherever it needs to get to. And what we are trying to do today is to make sure that we can integrate that journey for them. We can manage their supply chain. We can make sure that they concentrate on the business that they are experts at. And we do the rest of the work on the logistics front.
So I have a container loading in Gwangju.
Yes.
And I need that container to come to Kameredo.
Yes.
Where is Kameredo? Somewhere.
I mean, you're the one who
You're the
knows
one who
it.
said it, so you must know where
You're
it is.
asking us as
You're asking us as though you left us there and you're coming back.
But the destination should be Kameredo.
Just geography. So I wanted to come to Kameredo.
Yes.
Okay? Now take me through that journey. Bring me my container.
So traditionally, what would happen is you would make a booking, what we call a CY booking, which stands for container yard, meaning you would just deliver the container to me as Maersk, and I would deliver it to the next container yard, which for Kenya would be either Mombasa or Nairobi at the ICD.
Okay.
Today, what I will do is have a discussion with you, Eric, and say, Eric, you're an expert. What are you carrying in your container? Maybe finished goods, white goods.
Yep.
So what I'll do for you is I'll come to the factory floor and I'll pick that up for you. I will do the delivery for your landside. I will do the customs clearance for you. I will make sure that your container is transported and loaded onto the vessel. I will then make sure that it's delivered in Mombasa, cleared in Mombasa, and delivered to your doorstep in Kamirithu and de-staffed if need be. If you want me to distribute the cargo for you, I can do that.
So you're basically saying, I'm going to take the food in a spoon, put it in your mouth, move your mouth up and down so you can masticate, and then I'm going to massage your throat so that you can also swallow, basically.
In logistics, yes, that's a first. Because
Wow.
a lot of it is really fragmented. You have different suppliers doing everything else. So you have, for example, in the past, what would happen is you'd have to hire a separate person to do for you your transport, a separate person to do for you your customs clearance, a separate person to do your shipping, to do your deliverance, to do your distribution. But today I'm saying I'm giving you a package, a solution that says you focus on cooking your food. I will do the rest for you.
Why?
I'm the expert and I can do that for you.
Why?
We like to say that it gives opportunities to customers to have one throat to choke. If your business is manufacturing, that's what you're an expert at.
Yep.
You really don't want to be an expert at transport. You don't want to be an expert at customs clearance. You want somebody who's an expert in that area to handle that for you. So what we're saying is we want our customers to focus on what they are good at, on what their core business is, and we take care of the rest. Yes. So we are removing the pain that customers have had. The other thing we are doing is that the fragmented supply chains that we have today create a lot of cost.
Yep.
Where you have problems is usually where there's a handover. You have 2-3 different people handling your business. The handover from person 1 to person 2 there's going to be problems. Person 3 to person 4, there's going to be problems. If I'm doing it for you, we eliminate handovers, you get one solution, you get one price, and you're happy. Yes.
Who is the target for this? Are we looking at, the run-of-the-mill folks who are bringing in goods from, wherever, or you're looking at big business who then gets to, take advantage of this service?
And that's the beauty of what we do at Maersk. We take care of all our customers, all customers. So we have products for big business, multinationals, manufacturing companies, and we have products for SMEs. And we have products for the guy who just wants to move his personal cargo because he's moving to work from South Africa to work in Kenya, and he just wants his container moved. So we offer solutions across all these different customers segments. Yeah.
Like you said, it's integrated logistics. When we talk about global logistics, there are very many moving parts. Like you say, there are various ports of, is it port of loading or port of hand, whatever. Then there's the port of destination, and then there's the inland container
ports
depot and the inland ports and all these things. How, if you were just to give a brief description of the global logistics industry and how it looks like, could you do that in about 2 minutes?
So global logistics, so logistics in itself just is basically how we move goods, supply chain. It's how you move goods from one place to another. And what's happening globally is that there's sourcing that people do, and there's distribution when they have their final product. So you have people who are importing, you have people who are exporting, and you have people who are manufacturing, and so they're moving their cargo or goods or parts from different parts of the world. So, for example, an iPhone manufacturer will probably have his factory in China, but the parts are coming from all over the world, and he needs to make sure that they get to wherever they need to be manufactured and put together at the right time for him to deliver his final product to the last area. So global logistics is constantly moving between where you source and where you actually sell your product. So customers are looking for solutions that help them to be able to meet all those needs at a very short place in time. And global logistics is just what it is. It's global today. So previously you'd find very localized way of manufacturing thing where people would source locally, but today that has changed completely. And so we need to be cognizant of this, and as a player in the global market, we see our role as being able to bring together all these players in the industry and to help them to each get what they need from wherever they want it in the world.
These things, it's music to my ear. That is, of course, if indeed I wanted things moved from point A to point B and C and D. How then do you differ from other people who reportedly do similar thing? Green Link, Salihia, some of these, they are called logistics companies that move goods. Well, all you do is, as you said, you give it to them and it ends up at your doorstep.
Yeah.
Is there a difference?
Yes, there's a difference. So logistics players are in very many different areas of the whole chain. So you have transporters. You have people who mainly work with CHB, which is Customs House Brokerage. You have forwarders whose job is mainly to help importers perhaps source and then do the movement and the documentation for them all over the world. So all these are players in this same industry. And there are people who are experts in a specific niche. So you'll have, for example, in Kenya, a very robust transport company where you have people who own trucks. And what they do mainly is to contract with others to move their cargo by trucks, by road. Rail is also a form of logistics, and KRC in Kenya today are a big player in trying to make sure that they can build up the SGR and use it to move goods. So all these are parts and pieces of the supply chain. They all form a part of what we call logistics for our customers. The difference between that and us is that we are now integrating this. So Maersk is no longer just offering a bit, which was the maritime transport, which is what we previously used to do. So we would mainly concentrate around moving from port to port. That was our strength. Today, what we do is we integrate it for you. So you no longer need to deal with so many different players in the market to get your goods moving. I hope that helps, Siti.
It does. It does. In fact, I'm just trying to picture it.
Yeah.
Meaning, I get in touch with you.
Yes.
Every bit of movement that forms part of what we refer to as logistics. Everything, to the point where whatever it is I want transported gets to the ship, all that is now you.
Yes, all that is now us.
And so once I contract you, then whatever it is I want can actually get to my doorstep.
It gets to your doorstep if that's what you want. If you want us to distribute it, what we call fulfillment, meaning that you're perhaps also buying it because you need to distribute it, we will do that for you.
There's a lot then to discuss here and to get to understand.
Yes, yes.
There's a lot that happens in this industry. There's a lot that happens, through the world. You only see goods when you're seeing them at the shop. And you can see made in China, made in Taiwan, made wherever, made in Korea, made
in Turkey. And also made in Kenya.
And then you just assume, this thing has arrived where it has come to the shop. You don't think about how you get them to the shop. And then you get into business. And you have to source the goods. And you realize that just by boarding a plane here and going to Gwangju because everybody is going to Gwangju, or going to Turkey because everybody is going to Turkey, that's not it. There's a lot more. Now, when it comes to clearances, particularly of goods, there are people who will complain about delays at the port in terms of clearance. There are people who talk about the pre-export verification certification and goods arriving here, and then you're told this should have been inspected before they boarded this vessel to come here. Do you then advise your customers on all these requirements before, or is there somewhere where someone can get all this information? And then by the time they're coming to Maersk, they're telling you, what, I have my goods coming from here. You can get the PVC TTT on this date, and you can bring my goods to Camerito on X date.
And that's the change that we are making. That's the transformation that we are talking about. Because in the past, you, as Eric, would have to find out a way, figure it out by yourself, try and call your friend who has ever cleared something before, find out who they cleared it with, go to Google, find out, is there someone who can do this for me? But going forward, what we are saying at Maersk is that we can do this for you. So all you need to do is to give us a call or to go online at maersk.com, and you'll find our products there. And what we'll do is we will carry that headache for you. We will figure it out for you. All you need to do is to tell us what it is you're paying, what it is that you need, and we'll figure that out for you. That's really the change we are bringing into this market with the new integration journey that we are going through.
Jabu, you've mentioned a number of times that Maersk is a global company.
Yes.
Okay. Define global.
So we operate in around 193 countries globally. Yes. We have over 100,000 staff that work for us globally. And that basically means that there's no part of this world that we don't get to if we need to.
So in this region, because you are head of the customer experience in fact, just listening to you, I can get the experience. Okay. So in this region of East Africa,
yes.
In what countries are you?
So we have 6 sites where we have offices, but we do business in the 11 countries that make up Eastern Africa. So when we talk Eastern Africa, we are talking plus the Horn of Africa.
Okay.
So the Kenya office, that's the head office for Eastern Africa, takes care of the traditional 5 countries in Eastern Africa, and then it's Ethiopia, it's Somalia, it's Djibouti, it's Sudan. We are in those countries also. And then Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi, Tanzania, South Sudan.
The world had shut down 2
Yes.
years ago.
Yes.
Completely. Everybody was like, okay, shut down your factories. If factories are shut down, then that means logistics affected. And how did that impact your business?
It's interesting what happened to our business because of that. And it became quite clear to everyone globally that logistics is a key part of the world business, and that always needs to be kept moving. If you recall, for example, in Kenya, not only was it that we the world stopped, but literally we had curfews. And maybe I can share an example of one customer who we had to support during that time. Interestingly, at that point in time, requirement for Kenyan tea grew phenomenally because it was one area that was open up. And so we have a customer who ships out about 20 containers a week. And within that of tea. And within that period, their requirement went up to about 100 containers a week.
Wow.
And
For clarification's purposes, when we're talking about container, we're talking about the 40 foot. Or what are we talking about?
yeah, 40
Okay.
or 20. So
Okay.
a customer will either ship out a 40 or a 20 foot.
Okay.
Yes. So what happened is we needed to support them during this period of time. We needed to find a solution for them to move their tea from the tea areas, get it into Mombasa, put it in warehouses, and make sure that they make the vessel. Now, logistics and port operations run on a very strict schedule. Planning has to be done. There are deadlines at the port. There's documentation that needs to be in place for this to move as clockwork as it should. So just supporting them to be able to deal with that kind of, change in their demand, unprecedented change, was really something that needed a partner for us to be able to do that well. So we did partner with them, and we did give them solutions to help them to meet that increased demand. If you recall, there were even curfews, and we didn't have trucks out at night.
Yep.
So negotiating on berthing windows, negotiating on deadlines for them to bring cargo to the port, on what we call late arrivals, because there's deadlines even on when cargo gets in, supporting them. At some point in time, we had KPA having the whole export document down, department down, but making sure that there was a contingency in place to support them through this. That really showed the value of having logistics working at any given point in time. If you recall, the other thing that needed to happen was there had to be prioritization of PPEs and then distribution of them and sourcing and making sure that they reached the critical staff who needed to use them. And we did have very good partnerships with the port and with the customs authorities. We managed to secure some and to bring them into the country so that we could make sure that operations at the port could continue and we could support the business within Eastern Africa. So logistics is very key at such times, especially during uncertainties, and we will see more of this going forward. Even now, we see already the issues and the impact of something like, if you remember, in addition to COVID bringing down the world, if you remember the vessel that blocked the Suez Canal and the big impact it had on the logistics and supply chains of customers. So it's really a key part of making sure that commerce keeps moving globally. And so we understand our critical role globally as a logistics provider to make sure that we have a robust way of supporting global economies during such times, and to make sure we have really good business contingency plan in place to make sure that the supply chains are sustainable going forward. So that's something we've been working at and making sure that we really build up on that bit of how we do our business. Yeah.
You also require, I presume, to have a very good understanding of the laws in the various ports, in the various countries that you operate in.
Yes.
Now, is there any harmonized kind of law or legal regime or regulatory framework that says if you land at whatever port, this is what's expected to happen, so that you know, as a global company, there are some things that are just, they're basic, they're uniform.
Yes.
So if your vessels are coming from port A and they're expected to land, to go to port B through port C, it's already known to you what is happening, or
Yes.
are there some areas, some countries where you encounter challenges?
Every country really does have its own rules and regulations about what fits into what they require that comes in or doesn't come in. So there's cargo acceptance in some places. Some cargo is accepted, some is not. There are rules around vessels. And then there are the physical rules. There are certain sizes of vessels that cannot berth in certain ports. So, you have to meet or to comply with that. And then there are customs regulations. Again, these are very, very unique to each country and to each border. There are some that are common. So, for example, in Eastern Africa, we have the Ednah Act, which is basically the joint customs act that the Eastern Africa community follow and uphold. But within that also, we still have local rules within Kenya. A common one and a famous one is, of course, the car, the age of the car that you can bring into Kenya or into Uganda. That's very different. So that's very important for us as we are shipping to make sure that our customers are aware of that. So we do have experts even within our teams to make sure that we capture all these requirements and we are compliant as we do, as the orders come in and what it is that we can or we cannot carry. So we do have people whose role is to make sure that we are following up up on all those compliance rules. Yeah.
Is there an appetite for this? I mean, obviously, you said, look, in the business of serving clients and serving customers, but then I think it must be fueled by something. It must be fueled by, a cry out and say, okay, well, we wish we had a one-stop shop kind of thing. So then even after instituting this, do you find that there are more and more people who then now, businesses, individuals otherwise, who then jump on this and say, we would like to take advantage of this, then also could give rise to the growth of the economy situation as well? Do you see that happening?
Yeah, and we do. We do. In fact, this building up to an integrator strategy came from the voice of the customer.
Okay.
This is what they have asked us for in the past. This is the pain we have seen and noted in the market, where they would come to you and say, yeah, I like working with you, but you'll only get my container from point A to point B. This is where my pain is. Can you find a solution? And recently we had a global leadership meeting in Gothenburg in Sweden a couple of weeks back. And one of the things we were doing was reviewing our strategy. We've been having it for a number of years, and is it working? And we came to the conclusion that yes, it is working. We have seen the results in our books globally. We've seen with the comments from our customers. We have built more partnerships at a global level. We have seen people who want to go with us all the way. This is what they want, so there is an appetite for it. Yeah. There is.
Want us to take a quick break at 29 minutes after 9. We're having a conversation about the global integrated logistics industry, especially in the wake of COVID-19. And even now, we'll also talk about, of course, Ukraine. Every day there's a logistical issue, whether it's a Suez Canal that has been blocked in the wake of Suez blockage or in the wake of COVID. Joining us in the studio is Ruth Tabu. She is the head of customer experience for the East African area at Maersk. And then we'll be joined after the break by Florence Bogwer, who is a commercial and sales director at the same organization for the same region, talking about global logistics global logistics industry and how it's structured. Maersk has, as we've been told by Tabu, has brought integration into integration. And this is it.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
SpiceFM KE is our channel, and our page on Facebook is SpiceFM KE. We are talking about global integrated logistics in the wake of COVID-19. Our guest in the studio is Ruth Tabu. She is the head of customer experience for Eastern African area for Maersk, and the commercial and sales director for the same region, Florence Bogwa, is joining us via video link. And Florence, very good morning to you.
Ryan.
It's good to have you on the show. In the studio is Eric Latif, Ndu Oko, and CT Muga. We've been having some good understanding of the integrated logistics industry globally from Tabu, who's explained a lot of things to us. And the conversation that we ended with before we went to the break is talking about the legal framework and what happens, with moving from one area to the other. City has a big question.
Well, it isn't that big. It's just a question. There's something we refer to as online real-time cargo tracking. And from what my reading informs me, that Maersk are leaders in this particular sphere. Now, is that service available for importers in East Africa?
That's a great question. Yes, it is. We have a tool called TWIL, TWILL. So it is an integrated end-to-end online tool where you can go in and within 5 clicks make a booking for Maersk to pick up your cargo from whichever location in the world and bring it to your doorstep. Let me make it very practical. Right now, we import our cars. Yeah, let's say you buy a car in Japan or in the UK. You have a guy who drives it to the port. He books a ship. The ship comes to Ombaso. You have a forwarding agent who then picks the car, does the tax of clearance. Then you have another guy who would drive it down to you in Nairobi.
Yep.
In TWIL, you will go in. You will put in from where you want us to collect the car, in Manchester, Liverpool, wherever, to where you want it delivered. Yeah? Let's just say, I don't know, Kangemi.
House
number 3. Yes. And that we will pick it, we will process the documents, we will put it on our ship, we will bring it to the port of Mombasa, we will clear it for you and drive it and bring it to your door, number 21 in Kangemi. 5 clicks. So this is available. You go on now, you can do it now. So this is very much available. And it's not just cars, it's all your cargo. This is to enhance the small and medium-sized customers who are putting in 1 container, 2 containers. They don't want to interact with 20 people. It's available, it is working, and it is there.
About the tracking, so are you saying that the containers that will help deliver these goods are smart containers so that wherever I'm sitting, like say I'm sitting in the studio right now and I had a computer, I can actually see my cargo, I can track it, and I actually know where it is at any given point in time?
So we will push notifications to you to show you every step of the process. So at every place the container is moving from the road to the ship, back to the port, after customs clearance, you will see on your phone a notification telling you this is where we are, this is where we are, this is where we are. So yes, in a way, you're able to track your container all the way to your doorstep.
I want to take this discussion a little further. There is what you say makes sense. I love it. Now, what about actually viewing my cargo inside the container? Meaning, apart from just tracking it online, do you have a facility where I can actually see my cargo? I know it looks like this, and it's in the so that when it leaves the port, I can see it. When it arrives, I can still see it. So that even as I'm tracking it, visibly, I know, yes, this is what I...
It's inside.
I can see. This is it. Unaona? My cargo.
David Florence, I can comment on that. Yes, so City has been watching futuristic movies for sure. And hopefully we'll get there one day. But we are not too far off. I can tell you that for sure. So let me talk about the product that we have for our reefer customers. And reefer cargo is very sensitive cargo. It needs to be managed at certain temperatures and air movement within the container. And we have a tool called Captain Peter. I know he was hoping for a different captain.
Philip.
No, he was hoping for Captain Camerillo.
Yes. But we do have a tool called Captain Peter. So what Captain Peter does is enables you at your desk to view how your cargo is progressing, to even make changes to temperatures and to the air circulation within the container. So we do have smart containers for our chilled cargo. And you can track it online yourself. You can be able to put in your container number also and see where it is and see what's going on within the container. So if there's a shift in the gases, you can actually have that changed and amended. So we have smart containers for our chilled cargo. That's a technology that Maersk really has taken the forefront in, and it really has boosted our business within Eastern Africa. The avocado market has really blown in the past couple of years, and it's really the technology we're bringing in to help the customers to be able to deliver that globally.
It's a really snazzy service. I'm sure it comes with just a snazzier price tag.
Yeah, those who want good things. What was that about clothes and money?
You want good things, you pay for it.
Yeah.
That wasn't the proverb, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but definitely, of course, there's a cost to such kind of technology, but the value that it brings and the opportunities that it creates for our farmers in the global market really does make a difference.
Sure. In terms of understanding the benefits that, a business then would be able to gain from doing something like this, are you able to also guarantee time? We're talking about lead time on somebody putting in this request and saying, look, there are customers waiting for me on the other side. Am I going to get this product in a safe and, just as they are maintaining the integrity of the product, along that? What guarantee then is given to your client?
Yeah, so there's obviously a different expectation when we talk about chilled cargo that is time bound, and when we talk about normal dry cargo. And then, of course, to talk about the way that the networks have been squeezed. When I talk networks, I'm talking about the vessel movement because of the issues that we've had with COVID and with other issues happening globally. So we've had really pressure to deliver on time. We do sell a product that has a specific timeline. So we talk about transit time. So when we sell your product, we tell you this is what the expected transit time is. And when we are talking about specialized products like reefers, then we say, what do we need to do to make sure that one, specific to the supply chain for reefers, there is the removing of the fruit from the tree. You have to factor that in. There is the pre-cooling, because it has to move at a certain temperature, be stuffed at a certain temperature. That has to happen at a period in time. Most of this is in central province, and so we need to move that down to Mombasa. There's a timeline in there. There's the port operations. We need to make sure that if we are having what you call direct loading to save on time, that is factored in there. And then there's the sea leg. And then there's the destination. And then there's the amount of time that it needs to be on the shelf for it to make sense at destination. So, and this is why integration makes sense, really. This is a good example why integration makes sense. Because if you think about all of that, then really that avocado that leaves the tree in Gatundu at a particular point in day, when does it make sense for it to hit the shelves in Europe, in Rotterdam, and to be there long enough for people to buy and still get it in a good enough way that they can keep it a couple of days in the house before they eat it? There's a certain technology that goes into it. You can give guarantees, but there's a lot of things that can disrupt the supply chain.
So is there insurance for such disruptions?
There is insurance. We even have a product called Value Protect that really can cover you in such incidences. But yes, more often than not, the customer has to take on his own insurance, but we also do have insurance on our side to be able to pay claims if indeed there's something that we do within the transport plan that does have an impact on the cargo.
How do you integrate? Because these are complex systems that you clearly have. How do you integrate this with compliance authorities in the various countries so that this whole process can actually move quickly?
Yeah, so remember that we are experts on the supply chain. Our customers are experts on the product, and they're also experts on the documentation. So the compliance on the product, getting the right documents for them to be allowed to move the cargo, sits with the importer himself, or with the exporter himself.
Or importer, yes.
Yes. In this kind of scenario. What we do is to help them to just take care of the logistics itself, the movement of the cargo. But in terms of compliance, there's compliance around the size of the avocado. And maybe every year you hear around February, the fruit is not ready. The government still hasn't given the
fruit to the okay to get
certification.
ready.
Yes. And then, of course, there's the requirement in terms of even how it is prepared. And that sits with the customer himself to make sure that he is compliant.
Florence, I'm interested to know, do you play an advisory role then when it comes to, telling clients, look, we advise that you do it this way in order to guarantee the safety and integrity of product or service? Or do you just say, look, this is what the client wants and let's just go with that. Whatever happens at the end of the day, we deal with it then? Or are you able to say, based on our experience and our expertise, this is what we would then advise you to do?
I mean, that's a great question. That's a really great question. So, as Maersk, and I'm sure Ruth has explained this, I mean, first of all, we do not come to the customers with a solution. We come to the customers with a blank page, and we listen to the customer's journey. And it's not a one-day exercise. Yeah, we can be there, several days, just talking to all the people who are playing a part within the customer's company, listening to what and actually trying to derive what is their pain point. Yeah, we've just launched a new purpose in Maersk, which is, improving life for all by connecting the world. So we really want to improve the customer's life. We listen to them. We figure out what exactly is your issue. It could be that even the supply chain setup that they have, we need to maybe remodel it. So we don't just go with solutions, we listen. And then when we understand what the customer really wants, then we advise them and start together working towards a solution that can address their pain points. Let me be specific. If it's a warehousing solution, is your warehouse actually in the right location? You've been doing this for 20 years. Why haven't you tried to do it this way? We don't just bring the product into the warehouse that we found and start operating it the way you said. We actually go in and start engaging you. What are the HS codes? What is your compliance levels? Do you have a new product? Have you gone to KRA and found out if they agree to your HS code? Are they going to bring issues when the product is here? Until we have all that lined up, all the ducks in a row, then we move, yeah? We move together, yeah? We have ticked all the boxes, and then we start now doing the end-to-end transport or logistics solutions for you. So we are walking the journey with the customer. We are helping them and not proactively telling them, this is a roadblock. Have you checked it before you start? So that way, you have a better customer experience when you actually start operating.
Florence, people hear Maersk and they think Maersk is a big global company, so it deals with big global organizations. In Kenya, there are very many small SMEs that are, sometimes actually what they do is they come together, let's team up, CT and I and Ndu, and take up one container that we're going to put goods in. So there you're dealing with 3 different people. Do you then sit with those 3 different people and ask them, so what are your needs? Or do you say, you 3 different people come up with one need and I'm going to talk to you as one?
No, that's not our approach at all. I mean, we treat all our customers the same way. And yes, we are in Kenya where the majority is small and medium-sized customers. So the fit with Maersk is that we have even rolled out a new, the less than container load offering, where actually even you as a small player with half a container, bring in your 3 pallets. We will then be talking to other small customers who bring in their 2 pallets. You are all going to the same destination. You need the cargo to be there at the same time. So we will put you in one container. We will take you to wherever market, China, and then we will deconsolidate that container, break the bulk, and deliver to your customers. So we are not closing our doors. In fact, this is what we want to encourage. Small and medium-sized customers, it is the nature of our market. We have the right offering for everybody, whether you have the 100 containers per week or you have 3 pallets a week. And we are listening to everybody, treating everybody equally.
Somebody has asked me this question. Now that we're talking about integrating integration, where you're saying end to end, tell us about the cost. Does it become cheaper in the long run using this end to end than if I was using my, I know a guy in Gwangju who'll drive this vehicle or who'll take these goods from this point to bring them to the port?
So, good question again. Let me just say, I just brought in my car 2 years ago from the UK. The guy, I had to pay a guy to take it to the vessel. I have to pay the shipping line and some export clearance documents. When it landed in the port in Mombasa, my clearing agent said, your guy in the UK gave the wrong documents. So can you ask him to bring the right documents? Within that, I have spent 10 days. Then I'm told, I don't know, your HS code was not the right one. Now you need to add some more duty. In the midst of that, I was hit with a bill which I had not foreseen. If I had used steel, if I had used Maersk, I talk to Ruth. I tell her, Ruth, I have a car. It is here. You bring it to my door. I am dealing with only Ruth. You are in charge of documents, transport, clearance. I don't want to hear that there's an exchange here, and so I have to pay additional fees. And every broker in the supply chain, remember, every person you hand over to the process is adding their margins on top of whatever it is that was there. So we are talking one rate, one person who I'm dealing with. You cannot blame anyone else. You're the only one who has been handling my car. So the complexity and the cost are the point where we take hands on a container from one person to the other falls away. So I will tell you, no headache. And if you look at the end-to-end cost, it is much better than having to deal with 4 or 5 brokers as you go along and bring your car into Kenya.
Ruth, let me ask you. Now we have a big challenge with the global logistics for food, wheat, palm oil, and such. So you've been dealing with somebody here in Kenya who's been importing wheat from Ukraine. Suddenly, they cannot source. Now you have all these networks all over the world. Are you able to advise this person that, I am hearing that we have noticed that there are many more people who are loading wheat from such and such a port. Maybe you could consider. Are you offering that as an added service, or is it part of the end-to-end, integrated integrations?
Integrated integrations. So really, we are open to have such kinds of discussions with our customers. But we are also not experts on the global commodities markets. We do know what's happening in the markets, and we do see trends that we share, and we do partner with some of our customers just to tell them what we see and what's happening out there. So that information we can share to that level. It's really up to the customer to see whether that makes sense for them to go into a particular market or whether it doesn't. But we will be there to support you if you then make the decision and to help you to see, give you some kind of visibility on what does that mean for you if you change your sourcing patterns. We can do that for you. Yeah.
Florence, Ruth came here with a box, and she told us that she'll wait for you to get on the call, and then she'll tell us about the box. So now that you're on the call, Ms. Tabu, this box.
Eric, I think you haven't given...
the true story.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Ruth said she came with a box.
Yes.
But said there was another box on the way.
Oh, there's a container.
Yes, it is
from Florence.
Within that container, Florence is sent anyway.
Florence within the other container.
Yes. Okay, carry on, Eric.
Yeah.
Ruth.
Yeah. So these are the classic Danish butter cookies. So they are branded, as you can see, Maersk. And every year we give our customers a tin of cookies. This is just part of the way of saying thank you. Now, what happened because of COVID, our customers usually get their box in November, December. They are sure that they will get the box. This year, the cookies only came in a couple of months ago. And for me, the story was just around really the disruption is even for us as a company. We had disruptions in our own supply chains.
Yep.
But finding solutions and making sure that our customers can get their, guaranteed
treats.
box, their treat. This is important to us. So we are very happy to also share this with you. I know Ndu said she really does love.
It's the thing, man.
Yeah.
It brings back memories
Yes.
of my childhood and my dad, and it's absolutely amazing, these things. Your clients
Was
are
he a
lucky
Maersk
folk.
client? He's among those that used to receive this every year. So now we join that list of annual box. Okay,
To
so
Taona.
that's good.
At least you have one today.
Tujadiliane,
You have one today for sure. This is a guaranteed box for you guys.
In case I
It's a good
had
day
any
to have a
doubt,
good day.
Ruth
Yeah.
is a Kenyan.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ruth.
Karibuni, I hope you really enjoy it, and I'm glad I could make those memories come alive for you.
thank
And,
you.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Yes.
Oh, yes, indeed. So this also is your own experience in terms of disruption of the global supply chain.
Yes.
Now, what is it that you did to overcome that or to circumvent that?
This one, to be honest, it's really leveraging on our partnerships. Yes. And that's a big part of logistics and making it work. It's not just about, the assets, the numbers and everything. It's about leveraging relationships. That's really how you make things work for you.
Would you say that right now you're leveraging on relationships?
That's coming, not yet.
That's how you make things work.
So one of the things that we learned even as we were bringing them in is there's a strict guideline even on the date, for example, the manufacturing date that appears on any product and when it is actually shipped out.
Yeah.
And so we manufactured as usual. But then because we couldn't get space to bring it in, we fly them in. We really had to find a solution and to really get a lot of approvals that were exceptional for us to make sure that our customers get their boxes. And it just made me think about how this works for our customers also. Many times if you don't think through what it means for a customer to make sure that the deadlines they have, the timelines they have work, you could really be messing up a customer big time. Okay. Yeah.
Where that job of customer experience,
Yes.
you're doing it very well.
Asante.
Yeah. And that job of commercial and sales director, Florence, you're also doing it very, very well. Thank you very much for joining us in this conversation. It's good to actually shed light and to get to understand the global logistics industry and what it means and how it works. Ladies, asanteni sana. Come again soon. Florence, next time you'll be the one who's in the studio so that the container can be out there. So we have a conversation.
Cool. Thank you so much for having us.
All right.